Okay, this is a Victoria 3 run with the USA as my country of choice. USA, USA. I live in the USA, Texas to be precise. So why am I not doing a Texas run? I'm not doing a Texas run because I want to be realistic and have the USA build out its economy. And that's something I want to explore. Can the USA just simply by building a massive economy draw in lots of other nations into its power block? This is something I saw towards the end of playing France. I know I didn't record it in the last series because we had mod issues there, but I did see that just being a huge economy and having massive economic influence caused other nations to turn towards France and want to be part of its power block. So I'll do the same thing here with the USA. Now we'll talk about history along the way, but my main goal is in doing industrialization. And I know it's easy to industrialize the USA, and so I want these to be tutorials. So if you're out there and you feel like you need a tutorial, this is it. And if you feel like you don't need a tutorial, well, watch anyway. Maybe you'll learn something, or maybe you'll see something that I'm not doing that would make me have a better tutorial for those who are watching. Let's all chip in and help. Okay, with that in mind, we need to pay attention to the U.S. economy. Yes, I'm voting universal suffrage. Yes, we have the shortage of liquor. Yes, we have the war here with the Seminoles. But the key is going to be this economy here. Now, the liquor shortage, we could do that just by making more of it. But probably even more importantly is going to be the agricultural and the wood and fish markets there. Getting those built out and getting someone to import, or someone we can export our fabric to, our tobacco to, and we've even got a little bit of extra iron, and I know the French could use a little bit of that. We've got to find markets for our goods. We've got to find a way to feed our population, to clothe our population, because when we study industrial history, we find that a key to industrialization, along with access to good natural resources, which the USA has in plenty, in addition to good education, which, well, we'll work on that, and a couple of other factors there, but a big one is also having a bit of an agricultural revolution prior to the Industrial Revolution. If everybody can eat enough, then we can start asking questions about who do we no longer need to have working a farm and could instead work in a factory. Once we switch over to that, then we've got something. Now, let's get our people fed and I guess drunk and chopping wood right now. So let's go down here to our production. Wheat farm is going to make 30 per thing. Rice is 40 per thing. Millet's 20 per thing. Maize is 30 per thing. Okay, so maize and wheat farms are going to be the standard ones there. Rice we could build in Louisiana and Arkansas, but we don't have a big population there. So, I'm not so crazy with those. But still, they can make some good earnings on that. Let's look at maize. And if we sort by earnings, not so great. About half of what we had with the rice. But wheat farms, they're also in the same area. All right, great. If I sort by, let's go back here. I'm just starting off again. Let's go with peasants and sort there. New York and Massachusetts look like good candidates for wheat farms. And for the maize farms, we call it corn here in the USA. If we want to grow some corn, we're going to do that in Ohio and Pennsylvania and Illinois and all that. Okay, so that's something to look at there. But another thing to consider would be, if we want to industrialize, let's look at our GDP. And right away, we see two states, Pennsylvania and New York, are the darkest. New York is 11%, and Pennsylvania is another 12, almost 12%. Yeah, they're both close to 12% of my GDP in these two states. These are the places where I want to build my hill of industrialization and stand on it. Yeah, I could spread it around elsewhere, but if I put it into these two, this is where I could have the most impact. Think of it this way. Take a look at Belgium. Belgium has got two very powerful states, Flanders and Wallonia. That's where, I mean, it's the only two they have, but they can build those out, and by mid-game, they're going at a ferocious rate. Austria-Hungary has got Bohemia. Germany's got Silesia and the Ruhr-Westphalia. They've got a limited number of areas there. France, the Rhone, or Alsace-Lorraine are both very powerful candidates. For the United Kingdom, Yorkshire and the home counties, they could be very strong as well. In fact, all of England. But if you're going to pick two areas to start with, you could do that. And this is what I call my Belgium everywhere strategy. If you just pick two states to industrialize, which two would they be? If you're going to treat those two as your Belgium and everything else is just a nice place to expand to, which two states have the best candidates for that industrialization? And in the USA, that's Pennsylvania and New York. Put your industries there. Now, why are they good? Well, let's take a look at just like let's build out a let's go with steel. All right, let's look at steel. Okay, sort by earnings, and I see New York right there towards the top. Pennsylvania, not on the list, but if we sort by peasants, I do see Pennsylvania, well, they've already got some steel there, but they've got 115K peasants. New York, 144. Ohio has got a bunch. This is a good thing. Maybe if I'm going to pick my top two states, they're New York, Pennsylvania, and Ohio. And I know that's three in my top two. And so Illinois could also be there, as well as Massachusetts. Indiana's not too bad, but definitely, get these places with a lot of peasantry and get them engaged. Now, I'm not going to build steel just yet because we need to build out our agricultural sector. And to do that, let's look at the rural situation here. For our wheat farms, we could go to harvesting tools. That'll mean some more tools. We get, less workers involved. Same on maize. We will make more grain if we switch over here. I guess because, well, we're looking at 4 wheat farms as opposed to 53 maize farms. So, yeah, I want to call them corn, but it says maize. Anyway, yeah, we'll get more grain this way, and it makes them right here. If we look at this, pro tip also, sometimes when you try to go over to these, they don't show up either because they haven't populated yet or because rolling over some other element on the way over there causes a different pop-up to happen. So to do that, you could just, let's get rid of that pop-up. To make sure we see it, just click on or just hover over the edge of that, and then when you go over, you get there directly. But we see here, we've got predicted average productivity and predicted average weekly balance both going up. That's a strong signal that this is a good change to make. We're going to use more labor, or more fertilizer, more tools. That's fine. We'll figure out if we need to make more later. And we're going to use less total laborers. We're going to have farmers will be working, but laborers not so much. That means those guys now become available to work in other industries or become yeoman farmers or what have you. Freeing up labor while improving your productivity is going to get you on a path towards industrialization. By using these harvesting tools, we tell these guys, you're no longer needed to work on the farm full time. You can do something else. Be a blacksmith, be a miner, be an educator, whatever else. Just go away. Don't be farming. So we're going to do that. We're going to go over to those tools there. For wheat farms, we see the 2 green there as well. It's not going to make a big impact on anything because we have so few wheat farms, but we're going to do it anyway. We're going to standardize on that. Okay, next stop. I do want to take a look at how I'm making my liquor, just because if there's a way to boost production there, we'll do it. And no, there isn't on that. On this, we're already making grain alcohol. If we drop it, we make less liquor. So no, we need some more distilleries or to import the stuff or something. Whoa, that's the wrong hovering. Okay. Let's look at the next one we have is wood, logging camps. There we are. And Rail transportation. This is where we have this is interesting because we'll have less balance per week, but more productivity, and we get a very small amount of additional wood. We get like 23 more woods. I'm not so sure about that, and it's going to eat up transportation. We barely don't have rails. We barely have any. So let's not go there. And I do have hardwood camps because yes, I've got that mod. And again, this is telling me a no story here. I don't think I'd want that. And we're already using sawmills instead of simple forestry, so we're going to have to actually make new areas there. For fishing, though, well, we're on fishing trawlers, not simple fishing, so we can't improve that. And the same thing for our whaling fleet. We look like we're pretty much state of the art technically, as far as things go, but the lead mines, well, then again, we don't need to build those out. All right, so we're going to build out more grain, work on our liquor, and work on our forestry and fisheries. Okay. The first step is going to be getting that grain built out. And that means we need to know where our construction sector is. We have 1 in Ohio, 2 in New York, 2 in Pennsylvania, 1 in Massachusetts. Yeah, this is our Belgium here. But we need more. We've only got 40 constructions right now. We need more because we're going to build more here. So let's get 1, 2, 3. Whoops. Yes, even I can click 3 more in New York. Let's get 1, 2, 3 more in Pennsylvania. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 more in Ohio. Those are the ones I want to build out first. Massachusetts, we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about Illinois later. Right now, these are the ones where I've got over 100K peasants. This is what I want to build. And Ohio, especially because that's where my agriculture needs to go. Let's now let this run for a little while. And I'll take care of a few other things. But we'll let it run for a little while. And once we have all of our construction built out, then we'll take a look at what we can do in each of these states to improve our economy. Did a little tinkering, put troops on my war in the south there, and added some decrees. I could be adding more taxes, but I got to a point where every 100 authority that I had that would be required for a luxury tax would add 4K or less to my total tax haul. Whereas if I instead put in an encourage construction decree on Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, that's where I want to go for. New York, I get an encourage innovation because I've got 3 universities and 2 fine arts academies. My only fine arts academies and my most universities in any state is there. So if I encourage innovation there, I help build that out. And then because Indiana has the largest number of corn farms on it, I'm going to encourage agricultural industry there in Indiana. And then once I get Ohio going to where it has more farms in Indiana, then I'm going to switch this focus over to Ohio. I haven't let it run yet, but we'll see what this will do to my actual grain situation. But before I let it run, there's one very important thing I need to do, and that is talk to the British. Now, I've got an American-British association that's at +1, and they want me to have good terms with the British. I want good terms with the British because the last thing I need happening is these guys breathing down my neck trying to, tear things up. I want to have good relationships with them. With that in mind, there's something I need to do here before I make any power blocks, because if I make a power block, that will be a hit of 30 points on my relationship. We'll take it from cordial to neutral, and then they start being mean to me. And I want to get the trade agreement first, and then improve my relations with them, so that way when I get to where I'm going to announce my power block, it'll go from amicable to cordial. I can wait a while, and here's why. First, though, let's propose the trade agreement. They'll accept, great, and we'll improve relations super duper on that. Here's the deal. If we look at these power blocks, if I was to make one of my own, I'd have 2 members of it, Indian Territory and Liberia. I'll be getting, with just those two, I'll be getting a new mandate every 23 years, something outrageous like that. If I decide to not have a power block during those first 19 years, I really don't lose much. Because once I do make it, yes, I'll take the hit with relations with Britain, but if I built them up, they can come down a bit and then build them back up again. Or if I have an obligation with them because I helped them somewhere, cash in that obligation and keep the relationship where very stable. But once I do that, if my economy is also larger, I'm going to be attracting other nations into my power block pretty quickly. And when that happens, the number of members of my power block will increase, and when they increase, the speed at which I get mandates increases, and I do all right that way. So let's improve our relations with Britain before we do a power block. I know in other games I've just said, well, let's make it right away. Ha ha. How hard could it be? Now I'd like to be nice with the British here. I've also like to be nice with other Latin American nations, the French, Mexico, not so much. I'm going to have a war with them. I'm not playing nice. I'm not doing Velvet Empire stuff. There shall be war. I say war against because that's how the Americans saw themselves, is like because of who we are, we should take over where we are. I don't care who else you are. We're going to do it because we're America. We're exceptional, and I'm going to play with a little bit of that, even though I don't agree with that entire view of the world. Let's work at improving relations with France. Hopefully, we don't get an anti-French deal going on, but because the French and British are no longer rivals at the beginning of the game, maybe we could play through with that. Would like to have good terms with the Brazilians. Let's improve relations with them. They've got a great market there, and Venezuela and Colombia. I keep calling it Colombia. Let's just call it Colombia. I know it's New Granada, but I'll call it Colombia. We'll build all those out. So let me go to speed 5. And we're going to watch here the, well, you can't see it. Okay, well, what if we, there we go. All right, now we can watch the American market. Let's watch that and see what happens to wheat right after we get going here. Then we'll do something about our liquor in just a second here. But let's just let this roll. And Oklahoma's claimed by the USA. Oklahoma, okay, these are some silent things here, and yeah, they agree to that horror thing there. And we are going to remain free of the malign influence of European colonization because we're Monroe Doctrining it there. Boosh, got it. And the only thing we can do is abandon the Monroe Doctrine, and I really don't want to do that, so I won't. And I didn't, and there we are. Okay. It's probably going to take a little while for the wheat to drop down from the improved production method that we had on there. But there it is. There it is. It's at 9. It's behind my head there. Somebody wants to enact slavery ban. Can't quite get there. But anyway, trust me when I say that we've got that. But we do have a problem with paper. We need 370 papers. We need 563 liquors. Let's get to importing here because we can't build them right now. And I can look over here. I can see British and I can see French. And I can see some other guys that would sell it to me cheaply, but these are the two that I want to hit because I want to have good relations with them. There's British, there's French. We'll see how the others work out. And then for paper, I need a lot of that. You can see there's that shortage. Let's do the importing. And French are the biggest maker of the paper. Let's talk to them. And then there's the British in second place. I'll get the other 3. Oops, darn it. I didn't want to get the Spanish, but there they are. And I'll come back and pick up some more liquor here. Let's get it from the Danes, the Swedes. We'll just pick it off of them. Just so we can get rid of that shortage situation. There we go. Got rid of that. All right, and let's clear this out here. And we are at full production. We're making 1.86K per week in extra money. And that's with a war going on. We've got 4 entire battalions mobilized. There we go. Let's go ahead and complete the atmospheric engines, and we'll go with the more technology. All right. Now we've got Hawaii wants to give us foreign investment rights. Let's take it, because we're going to pick up Hawaii later on anyway. It's only 37 to maintain. That's fine with me. We'll do that. We do have right now our wheat is gone to minus 860. Now it's minus 960. Okay, so it's coming and going. We have people being born, I guess. But once we have we don't have a shortage of wheat, thank goodness. But once we have our building or construction built out, then we're going to go to the next level and start putting in some wheat farms. And we now have a shortage of minus 0 artillery. Well, let's import a wee tiny bit from the Prussians, just because we need it in this war that we're fighting with the Seminoles. Oh my gosh, it's minus 20. Oh, no. Quick, get the regular army involved. Mobilize, send them down. Ah! And we are working on our suffrage there. A trade deal with France. Oh, mais oui, let us accept. That's good there. And we are now short of ammunition, so we need to import some of that. Oh, wait, no, it balanced out. Okay, cool. And now, I know at the start of the game you see a lot of these pop-ups. Part of the tutorial is you just click through a lot of them. Once you get used to it, they're just there for informational purposes. What you do want to see are these little pop-ups on your territory that tell you it's time to do something here. Okay. A small group of Cherokee negotiators have signed a treaty agreeing to vacate their ancestral lands. Principal Chief John Ross has protested as the treaty has not been agreed to by a majority of the Cherokee. Regardless, it gives us a legal basis to begin removal. This will deteriorate our relations with the Cherokee by 10, and we can begin their removal. This is the Cherokee, these are the Chickasaw. Part of American history was the Indian removal. Now, I'm going to click on these because they happened historically. If I could, back in my, if I was running things, if I was Andrew Jackson, well, if I was Andrew Jackson, boy, I'd have a different haircut for starters. But I would not have done this. I would have found a way to make this work out, but it was very complicated, and essentially the people in power wanted those lands, and in order to get them, they violated treaties that they had had before, forced new ones on them, and evicted them to Oklahoma. It's the Trail of Tears. It's a very sad chapter in United States history. It's a regret that I have as an American that this happened. But having that regret does not mean I am burdened with a guilt. It means I look forward to trying to make a better future where we don't do this kind of stuff. And to be very bluntly honest, this kind of stuff still does happen. The United States is not good at maintaining and respecting its treaties that it has with the sovereign Indian nations. They are not... anyway, they're not good at that. But we're going to begin the Chickasaw removal, and we are going to go ahead and pay for it. I'll try to make it with less pain, but we are going to do the Chickasaw and the Cherokee removal, and the Seminole and Creek will be next once that happens there. And now John Ross protests. A treaty is a treaty. We cannot rescind what we have signed, or we can make the planters upset at us. Well, how big a group are the planters? They represent 17% of the clout in the U.S. You can see it just here above my head there. They're influential. These were guys that were backing Jackson's presidency. This is going to be what happens in this playthrough. I do not like it, but it is what happens. The shame. All right, but We can now see that we don't have a liquor shortage anymore. We're almost done building up the. Okay, we finished the construction. We have one liquor trade that's not happening anymore. Hopefully, it's the darn Spanish one. Nope, it's the one with Central America. And my guess is because Central America just exploded. So they don't have any liquor to send us anymore. I'm going to knock out these other ones here that are in the red. Don't need them. Don't want them. We'll figure out something else, and that helps our trade overall. Okay. But we do need more munitions. So that's a factory I got to build. And I say we got to build it because we don't have any at all. We've got, or well, sorry, we do have munitions. We have one munition plant. We don't have any artillery plant. And this particular one is ramping up, so actually that'll cover us for time of war. Never mind about that. Let's get to it here. Let's take the last 4 minutes and build out our grain farms in Ohio. Now, if we look at this, Ohio has not got the best earnings per acre on its stuff, but it's going to make a lot more grain. I need 900 grains. These will get me about 37.5 per level. So if I build out 30 grain things, I should be okay. Pennsylvania is also good, but I'm going to need to build a choo-choo there to deal with their infrastructure. But let's get, so here's what I'll do. I'll put that infrastructure build at the beginning, and then I'll have these guys added on later. So let's go ahead and get, here, hold down Control and click the plus, that builds 10. Hold down Shift and hit plus, that builds out 15, 5 more. Same thing for Pennsylvania. Control, Shift. And you can see it go up by 10, go up by 5 there. That'll get me my 30 grain farms, more than enough for what we need. And because we have the shortage there, let's go to our development. And I'm going to look at building out a railway. Okay, so we need, if I sort by infra, Pennsylvania and Tennessee are most in need of it. But we could also look at river development, and I can build my canal system in Pennsylvania and Tennessee. Now, the difference here, this is a mod I have, but this gives you an idea about finding substitute goods in your playthrough. This one is going to increase some fish production, which I need. It's also going to consume a little bit of fabric, a little bit of wood, and will give me some employment of farmers and laborers. Okay, if I go to railway, same places, a little bit less earnings, and it requires that I have some coal and some engines, and it increases my urbanization. I like urbanization. And I'd like to see what happens about our engine production. Do we import them or do we make them? Well, I'll click 1 for Tennessee, and I'll actually have that at the end. That'll be the last thing I build because I'm not really in a hurry to fix that up. But I am going to hit Alt when I click on for Pennsylvania because that'll put it at the front. Get them built out first. So I'm going to hit 2 times because I have 18 shortage, and each of these gives me 15 to fix. So doot. There we are. They're at the front. And we will build them out. Just for curiosity, let me look at my market, and let me look at my goods, and let me look at my, let me sort by goods. And I see groceries, I see lead, I see oil. I don't see anything that starts with an M that rhymes with schmoder. Liquor, luxury, mano, wars, meat, media. Oh, yeah. We are going to look at urban and scroll all the way down to the bottom. And yes, motor industry is on the list of things to build for today. I'm going to hit motor industry. We're going to need one in Pennsylvania. If I sort by earnings, it's actually the lowest negative. And that's because I don't really have a demand for motors right now. I'm about to have a demand for motors. So I'll hit Alt on that. And when I look at my build queue, let's put the railway first. And when the railway, well, actually it looks like they'll be done at the same time. So be it. They'll build it at the same time. And then we'll get some more grain farms going. But this way we have Pennsylvania going. We'll have the motor industry there. We'll get the maize farms. And we could probably stand to increase our construction capacity a little bit more once we have this where it's fully green and we are fully producing. I'll show you what I mean in just a little bit here. Let's go ahead and produce all this. I'm still building, but I want to point out that right after Van Buren got elected, we had a recession hit, which historically, well, there was a panic of 1837, but kind of neat. It was a random event, but it came out like in history. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to keep building some more stuff. All right. We've now got where, remember we built 15 in Ohio. Now we've got just the one left. Let's take a look at total grain production we have here. The easiest way would be to click on the product in the market and look at production on the map. And it'll show that now we've got 374 in Indiana and 376 in Ohio. And those are where I've got the most. I'll get away from the washout. But this is being boosted because of the decree there. So now it's time to take that decree, and we had the encourage agricultural industry. We're going to remove it from Indiana, and I want to apply it to Ohio, but I can't because now my authority here is below 100. So I need to go to my encourage construction, remove it for Ohio because I'm done building there for now. And this gives me the ability to now encourage the agricultural industry there. And I've got 69 authorities left. I can find something to do with them, I think. But this is where I make that happen. And oops, actually I should go with, let me go back there. All right, now if we unpause a little bit, and yes, I know I've sighted a bear here. Let's be safe. Let's not hunt it. Anyhow. Let's let it kick over, and there we go. We went from 320 to 440. So now we're making a more grain there. That's good. We're still having a shortage of grains to some degree here. Or not shortage, but we still... what the game defines as a shortage means that there's so little of it you can't do what you need to do with the stuff. When I call it a shortage, I mean... we have a high price because we don't have enough supply to meet the demand. But as it is, we don't have a little icon on there. Like if I go over to iron, like, oh no, we have an input goods shortage of iron. We definitely need to get some more iron out there. I agree. But which means we also we don't have enough supply to meet the demand. And it's to a point where it's impacting other production and other things. So I've got to get some more imports here. If you bear with, oh, wow, we need 400 of them, and we can only get this many more. It looks like once we're done building out the fields of corn, we are going to be mining for iron, and that's going to be my next move here. Well, I hope this has been helpful for you, and I hope you have fun learning about industrialization here. Remember, the keys that we had were pick out your Belgium. Find your Belgium. If you're playing Belgium, well, it's just those two. But if you're playing some other country, get a small area that you could focus on with some decrees and build that out. And I want to thank a viewer for making a comment about using decrees. I think it's a good thing to do. It will help you. Now, when you get really big, as a nation, you're going to want to have those points for taxes because you have a bigger population, you get more from the tax and stuff like that. But still, decrees can be very powerful, especially at the beginning of the game when you want to get your industrialization. And your industrialization starts with your agricultural revolution. So I hope this helps you out, and we'll see you in the next one.